This is Julian Dawson, concert pianist, conductor, and associate professor of music at Illinois State University. The Irish-born musician came to Illinois State in 1975. He was previously working in Scotland as associate conductor of the Scottish National Orchestra and chorus master of the Glyndebourne Opera. Julian now spends most of his long yet exciting days involved in some sort of musical endeavor, whether it be rehearsing for both the Bloomington Normal and Illinois State University symphonies or performing a piano recital that evening. We caught up with Julian on one of these hectic days to find out about conducting, concert playing, and teaching, and also how he got started with music.
I began when I was 5 years old playing piano. I was interested in piano from hearing little children having lessons at the little school I was at. My parents were completely unmusical, or at least had no training whatever in music, and it was just a chance that I took an interest. Like most little children, I didn't like practicing, working at it. I just liked playing around, but fortunately I had a saintly mother who made me stay with it, and very glad she did. And then when I was about 12, I had an aunt who had some musical training. She was about the only member of the family who had. Gave me a volume of Beethoven sonatas for a gift, which I had not come across these pieces, and I got very excited about playing them. And it was then I really sort of decided to stay with music and pursue it then as a career, which I did later in a famous piano school in Dublin and in university there as well. And that led on to my musical career. I think most people who have a prejudice against classical music, it's usually because they don't know enough of it, or they don't know how to listen to it. It's very different from listening to popular music, which you can just leave on in the background. You can't leave a Beethoven symphony in the background. It drives you nuts. You either have to listen to it or switch it off. And you have to follow the thread of the thought through a piece that may last for 15, 20, maybe half an hour, maybe an hour, a big, colossal symphony. And that does daunt a lot of people, especially young people. But if they're led along to listen to it and shown how to gain more from listening many times to the same piece, then most people, I think, get excited by it and want to listen to more.
Julian finds teaching younger musicians very satisfying and rewarding, and he feels that most musicians have a need to teach.
I think most musicians at some point in their careers feel almost a need to teach other younger musicians who are beginning and struggling to gain their expertise as musicians. And again, it's another kind of satisfaction and reward that one gets from nurturing the growth of a musical talent. That's a particular excitement which is just tremendous, to see somebody coming in who maybe has a little talent but not particularly good, and see them grow and get better and better. There's nothing quite like that in performing or conducting. The difference between playing and conducting is rather subtle, because obviously if you play an instrument, you are solely responsible for the sound that comes out of that instrument, you know. When you conduct, your task is somewhat different. You're not making an inanimate object produce sounds. You're making other human beings, trying to persuade them to play together and make music together. So it's a different thing, and it's very rewarding in a different way from playing, and I enjoy it very much. I love conducting. music, well, it's the art of art, really, of any kind of the arts. They all have the same thing in common, and it's almost impossible to put in words. If it's great music or great art, one has a talent for it. One has to, if you're going to get anywhere. And that, in a way, is not something you boast about. I can say I have a great talent for music. It's not mine. That's a given thing. Your responsibility then is to make the most of that. And when you start to work on your own music making, there is no limit. You find that there need be no limit. You can still go on finding better ways of playing, better ways of performing. And from the performing artist's point of view, I think I said earlier something about a message, that it gives, I think, to the listener a deep satisfaction in listening to a piece of music. There's a wonderful feeling when you come out onto a platform and play a especially beautiful piece of music. You have no idea how it's going to affect every individual in that audience. And you never know how somebody who is deeply depressed or disturbed may go out feeling that life is worth living again. And that's a tremendously uplifting thought for an artist. It's also a colossal responsibility too, to keep that feeling in one's playing or one's conducting, whatever. Well, I like to describe myself as a musician. There was a wonderful quote which I used some time ago from the great artist Arthur Rubinstein, and it's a quote I'd like to be able to say about myself, and maybe when I'm 90 years of age I'll be able to say that. And somebody asked him if he loved music, if he loved anything else, like a hobby, as well as he loved music. And his answer was, I don't love music, I am a piece of music. He said, I love lots of other things, but music is me. My life is a piece of music. That's a wonderful answer, and as I say, it's not my answer, but it's the answer I one day hope to be able to give.